Libra, I want to tell you something honestly from the very beginning. The money, support, or stability you once believed was gone for good is slowly finding its way back to you. And this return will not feel symbolic or distant. It arrives in a real and tangible way that touches something emotional inside you, because this is about more than finances. It is about balance being restored and realizing that life never forgot what your heart has been carrying. You did not come across this video by accident. Maybe something in you felt curious, restless, or simply tired of carrying so much alone. But there is a deeper reason you are here now. Between June 3rd and June 4th, 2026, an energetic window begins opening around you, and something long delayed finally starts moving again. What you are about to hear may feel deeply personal because it reflects the season you have been quietly walking through for far too long. Life has tested your sense of balance more than most people realize. There were moments when you gave your energy, patience, and care so freely that you forgot how little you were receiving in return. You kept trying to hold everything together with grace, even during seasons when your efforts seemed to disappear into silence. Some of those losses were financial, but others reached deeper into your confidence, your security, and your belief that life could truly improve. Even while trying to stay hopeful or spiritually grounded, there were nights when you questioned whether peace would ever return to you. But hear this clearly now. The universe did not overlook you, and what felt delayed was never meant to diminish your worth. Some things were held back because you were learning how to receive without guilt, without exhaustion, and without abandoning yourself in the process. Now the energy around you is beginning to soften in your favor. You are entering a season where life starts flowing again, instead of forcing you to swim against it. If you already feel something quietly shifting inside your chest, trust that feeling, because your intuition recognizes alignment before your mind fully understands it. This message is not only about money returning, it is about healing, self-respect, and finally allowing yourself to receive with peace. Before we go further, take a moment to claim this energy for yourself. Leave a comment below and write, "Between June 3rd and 4th, I welcome the balance and abundance meant for me." It may seem simple, but intention carries power. The moment you type those words, you are doing more than commenting. You are opening a door within yourself and letting your spirit know it is safe to receive again. And truly, thank you for being here and sharing this space with me. Every comment, every like, and every moment of support helps these messages continue reaching the people who need them most. Your presence matters more than you realize. So stay with me through the rest of this message, because what is unfolding now has the power to shift the way you see your future, and you will not want to miss what comes next. When the sun forms a gentle trine with Neptune and the moon moves through your second house of income and self-worth, a quiet spiritual opening begins unfolding around you. It is not dramatic, but softer, like light slipping through a window closed for too long. Between June 3rd and June 4th, 2026, an energetic doorway begins opening, and delayed blessings slowly find their way back to you. If you have spent years feeling like your effort disappeared without reward, this is the season where life begins returning what once felt unreachable. What seemed lost was never truly gone. It was waiting for the moment you became emotionally ready to receive it without fear. Libra, you have carried more pressure than most people realize, especially the pressure of trying to keep everything balanced while quietly wondering if your own needs would ever be met in return. Part of what slowed your financial flow came from constantly needing reassurance that your effort mattered. But money, like every form of energy, moves more freely through trust and openness. Until now, parts of you may have stayed guarded, expecting disappointment before good things could even arrive. Yet this alignment slowly softens those inner walls, while the moon moving through your second house awakens the understanding that it is finally safe to receive again. And once that shift begins, life starts changing from the inside outward. Instead of forcing every outcome, you begin allowing life to meet you halfway. Delayed payments, forgotten opportunities, unresolved financial matters, or support you stopped expecting can begin moving again in perfect timing with the energy unfolding around you. Your second house is about more than money. It reflects the way you value yourself and the abundance you believe you are allowed to hold. What have you convinced yourself was too much to ask for? What blessings did you push away because you feared seeming selfish or demanding? This transit brings those beliefs into the light, not to shame you, but to release them. Because this was never only about finances. It has always been about your readiness to receive what already belongs within your path. That is why the blessings arriving now come through alignment instead of struggle. What is meant for you finds you more easily when you are grounded, emotionally clear, and no longer holding life with clenched hands. So let me ask you honestly, is there a financial loss or missed opportunity you still think about sometimes? If that memory just surfaced, take it as a sign, because what once slipped away is beginning to circle back. It simply needed the right timing, and that alignment is finally arriving. Take a moment to affirm it out loud or write it in the comments below. Say what you are finally ready to welcome back into your life. Let speaking it become the act of opening the door for it to return, not because the universe needs convincing, but because your spirit needs to hear that you are ready. Libra, when the Ace of Pentacles appears in a message like this, it carries more than the promise of money or opportunity. It feels like a quiet reminder that your hands are not empty. Something steady, meaningful, and real is beginning to move toward you now. The deeper question is whether you are finally willing to receive it. Receiving can feel difficult when you are used to earning everything through effort and emotional sacrifice. You have spent so much time trying to keep life balanced for everyone else that allowing support for yourself can feel unfamiliar. But this energy is not asking you to push harder. It is asking you to soften and trust that goodness can arrive without guilt attached to it. The Ace of Pentacles often appears as a hand extending from the clouds, holding a golden coin with calm certainty. Its message remains the same. Something valuable is being placed into your life now, financially, emotionally, and spiritually, and it is not appearing by accident. You aligned with it through the quiet changes happening inside you. Astrologically, this mirrors the shifts that happen when important transits move through your second house of income and self-worth. Between June 3rd and June 4th, 2026, this opening becomes especially meaningful. The moment your energy moves from fear into trust, what belongs to you can finally recognize the path back toward you. Because abundance is not a reward for suffering long enough, it reflects what you are finally willing to hold. This card confirms that your energy is beginning to match the support and peace you have quietly wanted for years. But for many Libras, receiving still feels complicated because part of you associates support or visibility with pressure and imbalance. You may have lived through moments where every good thing seemed to arrive with a hidden cost attached to it. Yet this card gently works to release those fears and reminds you that you no longer have to brace yourself waiting for life to take something back the moment happiness appears. That is what makes this moment sacred, not because a miracle appeared from nowhere, but because you are no longer the same version of yourself who believed they had to overextend just to deserve stability. Your inner changes are creating space for this blessing to finally land. So ask yourself honestly, can you receive this without apologizing for it? Can you welcome support, abundance, and peace without feeling like you must repay it with exhaustion? Not because you suffered enough to earn it, but because you are finally understanding that you were always worthy of receiving it. If something inside your heart quietly says, yes, honor that feeling. Say it aloud, write it down, or leave a comment below that says, "I receive this blessing with gratitude." Moments like this help your nervous system recognize that support and stability are becoming real experiences instead of distant hopes. You have poured so much energy into keeping things together for others through difficult seasons. This card reminds you that your own well-being deserves that same care now. And this opportunity, the one you once believed had passed you by, is closer than you think. And when the Six of Wands appears beside this energy, something shifts both around you and within you. It feels as though the universe quietly witnessed every unseen effort and every moment you stayed true to yourself, even when it would have been easier to stay silent. This card speaks of recognition, but not in a loud way. It is the natural result of no longer hiding your value from the world. You are entering a chapter where your gifts, presence, and quiet strength become visible in a new way, because you are finally allowing yourself to stand fully in what has always been there. Libra, you have always carried a quiet wisdom within you. You notice what others overlook, sense emotional undercurrents, and understand people in ways that are difficult to explain out loud. But for a long time, that sensitivity may have left you feeling underestimated, as though your gifts worked quietly in the background while louder voices received the attention. You gave your energy gently, hoping your presence would be felt without forcing yourself into the spotlight. But now the energy begins to change, not because you suddenly become louder, but because what you offer can no longer stay hidden. A deeper confidence is rising through you, and people are beginning to recognize the steadiness, compassion, and truth you naturally bring into every space you enter. As this shift happens, movement begins accelerating around your work, your opportunities, and your relationship with prosperity. The Six of Wands is not about ego or shallow attention. It reflects alignment between your purpose and the value you quietly bring into other people's lives. For those working in healing, education, creative fields, counseling, wellness, or service-based work, this message carries special meaning. What returns to you now is not simply payment for effort. It is reciprocity for the impact your presence has created over time. You stayed committed to your path, even when others could not fully understand what you were building. And because of that, the energy you invested into others slowly begins returning in real and tangible ways. Invitations open, projects move with less resistance, and opportunities begin aligning more naturally than before. This is not luck. It is the result of finally becoming emotionally open to receiving what your own energy has been calling toward you for years. The energy of the number 6 connects deeply to service, sincerity, and creating something lasting through care. And the deeper truth in this moment is that abundance flows more easily when you stop shaping yourself around approval and start aligning with what genuinely feels true to you. Money responds to integrity more than performance. The more honestly you allow your gifts to exist, the more naturally life responds in return. This is your season of return, Libra. Between June 3rd and June 4th, 2026, something begins shifting that helps you feel seen in a new way. It may arrive through a promotion, an unexpected invitation, or an opportunity to lead, teach, create, or speak in spaces where your voice finally carries the weight it deserves. Or it may begin quietly with one conversation or decision that changes your direction more than you realize at first. Whatever form it takes, it arrives because the timing is finally aligned. So pause for a moment and place your hand over your heart. Ask yourself honestly if you are ready to let your value become visible now. Ask yourself if you can trust that the light you carried quietly for so long is finally ready to expand beyond the places where you once kept it hidden. And if something inside you says yes, let that intention move outward. Leave a comment below that says, "I've shared my light. I'm ready to receive in return." Let those words become more than a comment. Let them remind your spirit that you are no longer shrinking yourself to stay comfortable for others. You carried grace through difficult seasons, and now that same light begins returning to you, multiplied. Libra, there comes a point where freedom stops meaning escape and starts meaning peace. The moment you can breathe fully without pressure sitting constantly on your chest, something inside you changes. That is the energy of the Nine of Pentacles. It arrives calmly and steadily, reflecting the life you have been building through patience, healing, and quiet perseverance. This card speaks of a future where money no longer controls your emotions because it finally supports the life you truly want to live. It reflects a version of you whose worth is no longer questioned, especially by yourself. As Jupiter moves through the area of your chart connected to resources and stability, this energy becomes even more powerful. But unlike old cycles that pushed you toward exhaustion, this alignment is not asking you to chase harder. Instead, it asks you to make space, not from panic or pressure, but from calm readiness for what is entering your life. Jupiter's influence here brings more than financial increase. It brings meaningful support, the kind that helps you breathe easier, feel grounded in your choices, and create a life that reflects who you have become. Because true financial freedom is not only about having more money, it is about healing your relationship with safety, comfort, and receiving. That shift often begins with small, practical steps. Organize your wallet, clear out old receipts, remove what no longer works, and create space for something new to enter your life with ease. Look at your finances with honesty instead of shame. Maybe you pay off one small debt, not because it changes everything overnight, but because it reminds you that movement has already begun. Make space for greater stability, not as fantasy, but as preparation for what you are finally ready to hold. The moment you do this intentionally, you stop only hoping and begin expecting. Because attraction does not respond to fear, it responds to readiness. There is something deeply powerful about gratitude expressed before the blessing fully arrives, especially the kind rooted in quiet certainty instead of lack. Not gratitude for survival, but gratitude that says, I can feel this new season approaching and I am already making room for it. Say it aloud or write it somewhere personal. Thank you for the money that is already making its way toward me. Let those words settle deeper than surface positivity. Let them become something your nervous system slowly begins trusting. Because Libra, I know how exhausting it can feel to move gracefully through uncertainty. I know what it means to stretch limited resources while still giving kindness and care to others. I know how often you have shown up with dignity, even while feeling emotionally unsupported. This message is not here to glorify your struggle, it is here to release you from it. The path ahead is rooted in peace, not pressure. You do not owe anyone guilt for wanting a life that feels calm, beautiful, stable, and emotionally safe. You are allowed to thrive now, not only someday in the future. So if something inside your chest softened while hearing these words, let that become the beginning. Let it move into openness and trust instead of fear. You are no longer meant to carry life as though loss is always waiting around the corner. You are learning how to receive without apology and hold abundance without expecting it to disappear. And if you can already feel that readiness rising within you, honor it. Leave a comment below that says, "Thank you for the money that is already on its way to me." Let those words become a quiet declaration that you are finally ready to welcome balance, support, and prosperity into your life. Because the door is opening now, Libra, and you are not late to your own becoming. You are arriving exactly when you are meant to. There is a kind of healing that reaches far beyond simply covering old wounds. It arrives quietly, like morning light slipping beneath a closed door and slowly changing the feeling of a room before you fully notice it. That is the energy of the star, and when this card enters your life, it signals more than financial improvement. It speaks to your nervous system finally beginning to relax. Your breathing softens, your chest feels lighter, and your body starts remembering what it feels like to exist without carrying tension every second of the day. This is not only relief from stress, it is soul-level restoration. And as pressure loosens its grip on you, a version of yourself you thought had disappeared begins gently returning. The part of you that once trusted life, dreamed freely, and believed in beauty without expecting disappointment starts waking up again. That is the quiet gift this energy brings. It reminds you that hope is safe again, and that peace was never meant for other people alone. It is something your spirit is learning to welcome back into your life. This season may first reveal itself through small changes. You may slow down naturally, crave simpler meals, drink more water, or feel drawn toward fresh air, music, silence, or long walks that reconnect you with yourself. There may even be moments where you catch yourself smiling without knowing why. It happens because your body is no longer living entirely in survival mode. It is beginning to settle and trust again. And the financial support entering your life now is not only a resource, it is confirmation that your life no longer has to revolve around stress and emotional exhaustion. It reminds you that you are allowed to enjoy your life instead of simply enduring it. But this kind of healing also asks for participation and gentle care toward yourself. That may look like taking a few quiet minutes each morning to breathe intentionally before the day begins. It may mean appreciating the water you drink, putting your phone away for a while, or walking beneath the open sky with nothing but your own heartbeat beside you. These moments may seem small, but they slowly reshape the way you relate to safety, balance, and peace. And if certain colors have been drawing your attention lately, trust that instinct. Soft turquoise may reconnect you with calm. Gold may remind you that abundance can feel warm and steady instead of stressful. Pale violet may quiet the noise around you so your intuition becomes easier to hear. These colors become subtle reminders that your inner world is shifting along with your outer reality. Libra, you have lived through seasons that made you question your direction, your worth, and even your ability to trust life again. But as the star guides you forward, you are stepping into clarity, softness, and emotional balance. Those things do not make you weak, they make you whole. The version of you emerging now is not fragile, it is calmer, wiser, and more aligned with what truly matters. So if something inside you has been whispering, "I'm finally coming back to myself," trust it. And if the words resonate, say them aloud or write them down. I am healing. I am awakening. Because this moment is not only about recovery, it is about returning to yourself in a way that feels honest and lasting. And Libra, after everything you have carried, take one quiet breath and allow yourself to feel this truth fully. You are not waiting outside the miracle anymore. You are becoming the space through which peace, balance, and renewal finally return. The World card carries a meaning that reaches beyond simple completion. It speaks of returning fully to yourself after spending too long disconnected from peace, stability, or trust in your own path. It marks the closing of a cycle shaped by emotional exhaustion, scarcity, and carrying more than you were ever meant to hold alone. In its place, something more grounded and abundant begins unfolding with perfect timing. The version of you rising now is no longer reacting to fear every moment of the day. You are stepping into emotional balance and deeper self-trust, not because someone finally gave you permission, but because your spirit never stopped believing there was more waiting for you beyond survival. There may have been years when you felt out of sync with the life you imagined. You may have lost money, time, confidence, or even pieces of yourself along the way. But none of those losses were meaningless. They became the soil preparing you for what is beginning now. And between June 3rd and June 4th, 2026, something shifts around you that feels like harvest after a very long season of waiting. Not because you forced life to move faster, but because you continued growing even when results seemed delayed. The signs around you now begin reflecting that alignment back to you. The number 10 reminds you that old cycles have completed their purpose. 111 carries the feeling of awakening and renewed clarity. And 888 arrives like a steady signal that abundance is moving closer, not only to repair what felt depleted, but to expand what you once believed was possible for your life. You may still wonder how to hold on to this feeling without falling back into fear, but the answer is softer than you think. Begin living as though stability is already unfolding around you. Speak as though support is becoming natural, and breathe as though your future no longer requires constant tension to maintain. This is the moment where trust begins leading you more than fear does. So ask yourself honestly, what would change if you truly believed abundance was returning because it belonged within your path, not because you struggled hard enough to deserve it? What would shift if you stopped asking whether life could improve and started preparing for the moment it finally does? And what might open inside you if you understood that healing, financial restoration, emotional freedom, and inner peace are all connected expressions of the same transformation? If this message touched something deep within you, honor that feeling. Leave a comment below that says, "I receive this financial blessing with faith and gratitude." Let it become more than words. Let it become a declaration that you are ready to receive life differently. Every word you write carries intention, and your willingness to believe again may help someone else reconnect with hope too. And before this message continues, thank you for being here, for listening openly, and for allowing yourself to grow through everything you have experienced. Every comment, every connection, and every moment of support helps these messages continue reaching the people who need them most. I truly hope these messages continue nurturing healing, balance, hope, and meaningful abundance in your life. So stay close, keep your heart open, and continue moving forward one step at a time, because Libra, you are no longer only hoping for a better season to arrive. You are becoming the balance, peace, and abundance your soul has been preparing to receive all along.